we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start with like our normal tribe time announcements, and then we're going to dive into the specific questions that were asked. So this part won't take super long, but just some quick announcements. Who cannot believe it's October already?
Me.
It's crazy. So our list of celebrations is shorter this month just because I was not on the ball as much with this, but a lot of you guys know that we crossed the 2,000 enrollment line, which is so exciting.
Awesome.
And I'm just blown away, and I am celebrating it because Tyler had shared this before on our live video, but
Collective
we remember
achievement.
Yeah, and we remember what it was like to be back at a place where we were like, what if we only had 100? Like, that would be so incredible. And we know that you guys are going to hit those milestones too. And yeah, it's just amazing when you find the right people that believe in the same mission as you and you move forward, you can do so much more together. So we did not post this in the group, but we had some awesome top enrollers. Kim Thompson, Janice Urban, Emily Paulson, and then Roxy Olson were all topping the crew with 4 enrollments apiece. I'm pretty sure Emily Paulson's going to have to do like a Tuesday tip-off video sometime because she's just coming in solid with that top enroller spot all the time. It's awesome. And then Jenna had 3 enrollments, so that's really exciting. And then there was like a lot of you that had 2 or 1 enrollment, which is awesome too. When you're just like consistently sharing and enrolling every single month, it makes a big difference. And if you take that one person and really empower them with their oils and help them change their lives, it can literally change everything for your organization. So that's really awesome. And then a brief overview of October. We already had the How to Get the Most class, and then tomorrow night is our tribe time. We're going to
Don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
Tasha Smith.
It's going to be really good. Emerge Sales Principles really changed things for me, and so she's going to be sharing specifically about that tomorrow night at 8:30. If you haven't registered, make sure you get registered, even if you can't attend live. Although I do encourage you to come live if you can, because you'll be able to ask questions and such. And then we'll have the Silver Plus call next week. And on the 19th, we're having a special hormone topic day on the LDC. We've been fielding a ton of questions for Tyler, specifically with Graves' conversations. And so people that are interested in thyroid health are going to really want to know about it. And then we're also going to have Danny go live to talk about fertility and her journey with endometriosis. She's now halfway in her pregnancy. She's due in February, so
more than halfway.
More than half, so it's super exciting. And she'll be sharing her protocols, what she did, and the healing she experienced. And then Oil Camp starts the week after that, and then it's the last day of the cleanse. And then as we go into November, we have our How to Get the Most at the beginning of the month, and then Tribe Time will be the normal second Tuesday of the month, and Oil Camp starts the 19th, and Silver's Plus call on the 20th. So just a quick overview of all that stuff for you guys. And now we're going to jump into our specific questions.
Thank you to those of you who submitted questions via the Google form. If you didn't, you can still submit them if you're on live in the chat, and we'll try to catch those too. We have 12 questions that we've got so far, and they're good questions.
One thing that I want to preface is that learning to ask questions and identify problems currently that I experienced in my doTERRA growth was really a key to me moving forward. If you're not reflecting to see what's not working, or the things that you feel like you don't adequately know answers to, or if you feel like, you're doing something and you're doing it the way you thought you were taught and it's not working, it's really, really important to identify that stuff and then be able to make changes as you move forward. And so we're going to go through the questions that were submitted. And then Gretchen, I see you just posted a question too. So we'll answer to those at the end. That's great. And yeah, also I just want, going back to me always asking questions, like every single doTERRA event that I've been to, pretty much I have like sought out a leader that I admired and asked them questions. Like the incentive trips for me were like breakthrough moments for me. And maybe you haven't been able to go to one of those events, it's fine, but that's one of the reasons why using the collective of the LDC and being able to ask questions and learn is so vital.
Mm-hmm. One more thing on that topic. I think it's like what Kristen was saying, like we need to know, obviously we know what to do unless you're brand new and you're still learning that. It's not rocket science of what to do, but the how to do it it takes practice, and it takes, even if you're doing the right things, sometimes we just have to get better at doing those things. I fall into that camp a lot. I know what to do, but I need to get better at how I do them. Or even like, how do I use my specific strengths to do it in a way that's unique to me? But that's not what this call is about. We'll answer your questions. Yeah. We didn't prepare answers for these on purpose because we felt like there's a lot of value in just like what comes out of us, out of our experience, and what's at the top of our mind. And we're just going to share that with you guys. So our answers are not canned. They may not be complete, but they're and I also don't know who asked them. So I'm going to read them, and then we're each going to kind of give our input into an answer, and we'll go from there. And as you think of questions, put them in the chat, and we'll get to those as soon as we can. So first question, Kristen. What is the best way to continue to empower the people you've enrolled without being annoying / overwhelming, specifically in order to keep them ordering, like using the products, that type of stuff?
And that's like a really, really great question. And again, it's like a skill, but what I've found over time that the key for that is to figure out by asking questions specifically why they got started using oils, why they want to use them, what are the problems that they have in their life that they want to solve through doTERRA, and then you offer them value through that. So at membership overviews, when I meet up with people after they've ordered their kit or ordered their products, I will always ask them, like, what are your top 3 health goals for you or your family members? And I write those down, and that typically is like the second thing I do during a membership overview. The first thing I do is I just say, so tell me what questions you have. Because some people, they come with this like whole long list already, and it's distracting them in their minds. So I'm like, let's get those out of the way so your brain can feel like I got the answers. And then I go right into those top 3 health goals, and I write them down. Most of the time I use the Live Guide from doTERRA. And then they even have a spot on there where you can write down health goals, and you can write down protocols for them to do. And so honestly, like, it is my goal in every class I teach to teach about Lifelong Vitality Pack. And it's my goal in every membership overview to like bring up LLV again. So
we have a question about membership overviews. So we can
can you go grab a Live Guide from back in the closet? Mm-hmm. So in the Live Guide, the very front page talks about the heart of doTERRA, and it talks about how like our goal is not to just treat symptoms naturally. I'm speaking in my own words, but our goal is to really establish a foundation for health and be preventative about our healthcare. And so I talk about that being a big part of my heart and why I do doTERRA. And so I like congratulate them in like, you've taken that first step in figuring out, or like getting these oils in your home so you can use natural things as you experience different symptoms. But you really want to get to a point where you've established self-directed healthcare. That's how doTERRA terms it. So I talk about my heart for that. And then through their needs and what their health issues are, I incorporate the LLV and why they should try it at least once. And so typically when I've left a membership overview, if they've given me 3 health goals, it just happens. Like they talk about menstrual pain, and I'm like, well, Digestin is great, but you should consider Claricalm and phytoestrogen at some point, or like you guys can think of all sorts of answers. So it's really, number one, it starts with you and preparing and knowing the products, looking through the catalog, learning all those things. And then two, being able to share those solutions with your people.
That's what I was going to say is like, it really comes back to connecting it to what people want. Because people are going to buy what they want or what they have a perceived value for. And the only way we can find out what people want is to ask them. And some people might be more coy about it than others. So we might have to get creative on how we find out what they want. We can't just assume what they need. We have to actually ask and find what they want, because once we know what they want, we are completely convinced that we can help them find a solution.
The second thing beyond that is, like, depending on their answers, I will always tag them in posts on the LDC, and I tell them that I'm going to do that, where there's resources that will help them based on that topic. The second thing is, like, when I explain LRP, I am very convinced that LRP is the bomb, diggity. So I'm pretty convincing. I'm just saying. So anyways, practicing that on your own, just like explaining LRP and why it rocks, is really helpful. And then like tagging them in the FAQs about LRP so they can keep learning. The how to get the most class is also great, because it also teaches them again, which that like re-explaining process is always helpful. And then if possible, keeping them engaged with classes that you have going on live every week or once a month or whatever, like topic classes, just inviting them as much as possible to those.
Okay, we gotta speed up our pace. The next question is, what are the routines that y'all, so this must be a Texas person, what are the routines that y'all have in place to continue to run hard, and what keeps you going in discouragement or rejection?
That's a good question.
There's different layers to this onion. What?
There's a fly.
Oh, I thought you were shushing me. Can I give my opinion?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so I think, what are the routines? The routines are that we are intentional about our schedule. That's our routine. Work time. We're intentional about our work time.
And not-work time.
And our not-work time. But the consistent part is we plan every Sunday. We plan out our week, and we're also looking forward to the next month or two or three, especially if it involves travel. And there's some weeks where it's like every night we have something, a class, or just hosting people, not even oil related, but we just want to be in people's lives. For me, as an introvert, if we did that every week, that would be exhausting to me. So we also are intentional about scheduling. Like yesterday, I had a nice chunk of introvert time. But I would say the routine is that we are intentional about our schedule. What keeps us running hard is, even before this was our only form of income, we could see, and we not just that we could see, like we chose that this was our plan A, like doTERRA was our plan A, and we didn't have a plan B. So we kind of put ourselves in a sink or swim. And so our mindset behind that, some of you know us better than others, but we believe that God brought us to this opportunity. And we trusted that if he brought us to it, he wouldn't just like lead us to a certain point and then just like pull it away from us or drop us or whatever. So we just decided to go all in. And
there were specific things that we could go back and identify as like confirmations that we were on the right path. And it's very important to remember those and allow those to carry you when you're discouraged.
Yeah, there's times when we do get discouraged, and then we just like to go back through and see, like hanging out with all of you is super encouraging. And just going back and seeing like people's testimonies with products even is super encouraging.
Oh, guys, talk about inspiration. We just had a builders meetup here in Waco, and a woman shared like literally how she took care of like just this whole long, amazing story. She's lost 14 pounds. She's quit smoking. She had very, very special moments with her father through putting frankincense on him for pain. So it's like those stories fuel me for sure. And then the other thing is just remembering why you do it. Like if you don't have a really strong why, like I wanted Tyler to be able to quit his job because of his autoimmune condition. And like, so like if you're somebody and you're thinking, well, doTERRA is not my full-time thing, something else is my full-time thing, and I don't want to quit that, that's still okay. Yeah. But figure out a why that's bigger than you. Like just the other day we were talking about like, what is our why for Blue Diamond? Like having that amount of income, what do we want to do with it? And we haven't talked about that a ton until this point. And we are like having those conversations now, like what actually is like a big, strong motivator that makes us feel like we have to be Blue Diamond to be able to live out that full calling that we have on our heart. So, and maybe that's like giving to a certain organization, or you want to, like, I don't know, or maybe it's like having a family vacation home. I don't know what it is. Like it's you, but you have to listen to specifically what you feel called to. And then you have to put reminders in front of you. Like over here, I have like a little vision board. At the beginning of the year, I made a little YouTube video that had my like specific vision board things on it. And almost all of them have come true now, like for the year, which is like amazing. So it's like you have to keep those things in front of you. And also just know yourself. When Tyler talked about self-care stuff, you have to know what refuels you. And if you're feeling like really like, and you need to take introvert time, then you do that.
Mm-hmm. But don't stay in that place.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's why the schedule is important. If you don't have scheduled doTERRA time, then it makes everything kind of fall off track.
And this is the next question, what are your boundaries around sampling and letting the quote product sell itself and not just handing out things to the point where people take advantage? So basically, like, what are your boundaries around free samples? Mm-hmm. Or I would throw in there also, what are your boundaries around ordering on your account for people? Well, that wasn't asked, but
yeah, I don't ever order on my account for other people. That's just not what I do. It's not the way I run my business. And you hear me say that with conviction because I went through the process of having like multiple times really like sticky slopes where I so could have ordered for them, but I didn't because that is not the way I run my business. And I tell myself that over and over. That's not how I run my business. That's not how I run my business. Blah, blah, blah.
We don't want to be running around like spending all of our time in the car connecting with people to give them products and make no money doing it, because then that doesn't allow us to continue to grow in our impact.
So with sampling specifically, I very rarely will sample more than once. And my goal is that it works. So there's like been a few times where if the sample didn't help them, and I still have a good relationship with them, and I still think like I really think it's worth it. Like recently, just with a girl in Waco, like I think she could build a biz. So I sampled her again. Who knew that it would be the diaper cream that would change her life, you know? So I did sample her again and it did work, but rarely do I sample more than once. And a lot of times I'll tell people that, or I don't know. I guess I haven't had any super awkward conversations where I've had to like say, sorry, like, I mean, if you want something at this point, you have to buy, but I would if it came down to it. And
really we just position it in a way that like
it's for them.
We know that they would benefit so much if they are wanting to use oils for some problem. We know that they would benefit from their own account. We know that they would benefit from being in the LDC Facebook page. We know that then we can give them more of our time and share more of our expertise, maybe not one-on-one, but in our continuing education classes, in our, I mean, all the things that we. And
there was one girl that I had to have a crucial conversation like that with, because she's a friend and she keeps telling me problems that they have health-wise, but then she was never buying. And so finally the last time I gave her a sample and I said, hey, said her name, like, is there a reason why you guys haven't just like got some for yourself? Like, I just know you would feel so empowered with them. Like, obviously you want to have them, you keep using them, and you would love our team's Facebook page and all the holistic health. She's like, honestly, it's just money. Like, after this, blah, blah, blah. She told me the whole story. So then I knew like what was holding her back. So it is important to have that conversation with them and kind of understand what's going
on. What does promoting classes and inviting people to classes look like for you?
So when we schedule classes, we'll make an image, and I have typically like at least one time a week where I'm sending out invites to those classes. For me, it's a little different now because I have to spend so much time creating content for our team and also empowering builders, all the stuff you see me do on the wellness page. Like, there's just so many things that I do in other cases that, like, last month I still had a really good enrollment month with 7 people, but it's like hit or miss, and it depends on how many people I'm meeting. So a lot of times I've been doing one-on-ones, and I still have lots of classes, but I've been helping launch builders, and I've been when I launch builders, I'll typically invite 1 or 2 of my own people to their class. And then I also have been doing topical classes in the community for my team, which enables other people to see what I do too. So like at a juice bar, I teach classes for my team and I invite my team to it. And I have weekly invite time where I'll invite my team to it. But then I'm also thinking like, oh, this is a public place where other people can find my class and come to it, and they could potentially be in an enrollment as well.
So you made it sound like you don't teach as many classes as we used to, which is true, but we're still teaching at least one a week.
Yeah.
And then
builders
1 to 3 or 4 one-on-ones a week. Mm-hmm. But what Kristen said first, I think, is important. She said, when we schedule classes, and that's what it starts with. Like, we schedule classes.
Mm-hmm. I have them scheduled through November with my team in Waco right now.
We schedule them before we even have any idea who's going to come to them or if anyone will come to them. Like, we always make sure we have classes on the books, and that has to start, because then it's so easy, and you have to, like, you're committed to it. It's not just like, oh, I'll do a class here, who knows if it'll happen or not. No, like, I have a class on this date at this time at this place, because then, and if you already have a flyer, graphic, whatever you want to do made up for it, it's so much easier to, like, in conversation with people, like, hey, I have a class on this date and on this date. Do you want to come to one of them? I think you'd love it.
That happens a lot.
I can text you the flyer for it. And it's just so much easier when you have them on the books to invite just as you go throughout your day.
I've been adding them to my Facebook page, but that's not necessary. And honestly, I don't think it's like necessarily helped bring in a ton of people to my classes. And then I also make sure like builders have the invite info as well. But the biggest thing is what Tyler said, like scheduling it, the time to invite, and then making sure you're using your oils in public so it like can come up. And then I always, and going back to my names list. Like, I always have a running names list where I'm adding new people that I've sampled, and I'm going back to that. Otherwise, it's really easy to get up to a class and I'm like, crap, I didn't invite anybody, and I don't even feel like I have anybody I've shared oils with recently. And then I look back at my list and I'm like,
oh yeah,
dang, I do. I just forgot to invite them. So yeah.
It's hard because we could spend like a half hour on each of these questions, but we're going to keep rolling. What is the one thing that helped you push from elite to premier?
Getting specific. Back when I was going to premier, I didn't have a second leg. Melissa had like massive volume and I didn't have another builder. So I had to get really clear about needing another builder. And at every class I was like looking for that person. And, oh wait, Londa, no, I'm thinking premier to silver. Sorry. Londa was there. I don't even remember the transition from elite to premier. We hit premier the month that I quit at my other job at Inspired Chiropractic. So honestly, for me, it was like the builders had like Melissa and Londa for me just kind of came out of nowhere, to be honest. I had no belief in the business yet. They both pretty much, well, no, I told Melissa she would be good at it, and Londa approached me about doing the business, and then we just ran with it. So for us, it was just really the matter of having, like, I already had 2 legs, so it is important to have those conversations. Either talk to people that you think will be good at it, which is what I did with Melissa, or you, like Londa, the only reason she didn't approach me about the business sooner than what she did is because I didn't talk to her about it. She went to a summer camp and somebody else told her how awesome doTERRA's business opportunity was. And she came back to me after that summer and said she wanted to build. So if you're not teaching and having, like, we have a class coming up called The Gift Behind the Oils, and it's going to be a business class. And so you need to be having those conversations with people that would benefit from the business or would be good at it. And that's really how you're going to find builders. And then the second thing is you're just still in the stage in your business where you're enrolling like crazy. You have to keep sharing with the people on your names list, and you have to keep having lots of classes and asking your team to host classes for you to extend beyond your warm market too, to continue to enroll a lot.
Yeah. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, going from elite, you don't need any qualified builders. To go to Premier, that's the first rank where you need to have 2 qualifiers, so 2 executives, and then an overall volume of 5,000. So it's a step that takes specificity and intentionality and crucial conversations in some ways. Say like, hey, I want to do this with you. Are you willing to run with me and do this together? Because that's when it's the most fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you recommend I'll answer this one. I mean, you can.
No,
but
go for it.
Do you recommend having a separate bank account for doTERRA income, or to set up power money for taxes, etc.? So yes. That's the short answer.
At what point?
So having a separate bank account for doTERRA income and expenses, I would say, just having a separate account that's for your business is a good idea. Not only from like a taxes standpoint, but just so you know too, like if you are, we want people to be making money doing this. So it's an easy way to keep track of like, how much am I making versus how much am I spending? I would say you don't need to do this until you're at that like elite Premier level. It could fluctuate. It could be silver. It could be, I would say not less than elite, because you might be, depending on your situation, you might spend all of your money that you're earning in order to continue building your pipeline. Remember, we're not trading dollars for hours for dollars. I wish you could trade dollars for hours sometimes. We're not getting paid an hourly wage. So I would say until you're making like $400 to $500 to $600 a month is when you can set up a separate account to keep track of that stuff. To set apart for taxes, so doTERRA pays us and they do not withhold taxes because we are not employees of doTERRA. We're subcontractors, and doTERRA will send us a 1099 in January if we've earned over $600 for the calendar year. They'll send us a 1099 with how much they paid us, and then our responsibility is to pay our income tax off of that. When we file our taxes, there's a spot where you can put in 1099 income, and then we have to pay tax off that. So what we do, and what we started doing around silver, is every time doTERRA pays us, we set up a separate savings account, and we put 10 to 15% of every paycheck into that savings account, and it just sat there until we needed to pay our taxes. So there is a more explanation about this on the Wellness Leaders page. It's like we haven't posted it yet. The last FAQ.
Oh yeah, we're finishing up the builders FAQ. We're adding like 20 more for some more goodness for you guys, but we just have to finalize it up. But there'll be one that's specifically about taxes.
I would have a checking account for income and expenses once you get around, like if you're solid elite or premier, around then. And then at about the same point, at about silver, I would set up a separate tax account to save for taxes.
One specific thing, this person wasn't asking that, but a good guideline when you're starting out building your business is to look at your fast start money, meaning like the 20% that you get paid when somebody enrolls. Look at that as what you use to invest in your business. At the beginning, it's really hard to see that because you're like, wait, that's like really the majority of my paycheck is fast start. Yeah. But if you look at it like that, it will help you create guidelines with how much you're spending on your business. And it will also help you get more strategic about the best money to use on your business. So when I'm talking investing back into your business, these are things like live, share, build guides and class handouts,
sample
vials, maybe occasional incentives that you use, or maybe you spend extra money to do a training to up-level your skills. We've spent money on a Zoom membership so we can do these calls. We've spent money on our Living Drop Collective website. We didn't do that until we were silvers, but there's been things that we've spent money on strategically, lots of things, probably more than what most people realize, but we did it strategically as well. And I feel like a good guideline is looking at your fast start money as that money that you invest back into your business. Next question.
Do you or have you ever done promotions for your team apart from what doTERRA offers each month? You want me to answer?
Yeah.
So we don't do regular incentives.
We do one regular one. He doesn't realize. Back the first time when I think it was like partially through me earning the incentive trip for Cancun. I realized that I needed to get better at helping people to get on LRP right away from the start. And I knew that it would be really smart for me to do that because if I get them on LRP in that first month of them being enrolled, I'm still going to be earning fast start on that. So I'm still going to earn 20% of whatever they're buying on their first LRP. I also know that first LRP, if they set it up right away, they're much more likely to stay on LRP long-term or to get on it, period. So I knew like, this is like my best shot. They're the most excited now. So like, how do I offer them value and then give them an incentive that makes it a no-brainer for them to go on LRP? And so that was the point in my doTERRA journey where I was like, I need to just start like ordering Essential Life books in bulk. And that was, again, like part of the 20% fast start we'd invest into our business. And I'll tell people at my membership overview at the very end, I said to them, if you place a 100 PV loyalty rewards order this month, I always give you a book for free. And people are always so excited because they're
bring it with you to the membership.
And I've like showed them the functionality of the book because like even when they ask me like about a certain health goal, a lot of times I'll open up the book and show them that like the index, and I'll show them how to look it up, and then we'll write down the protocol for them. So it like shows them how to navigate the book and they see the value in the book. And then I say at the very end that normally this is just $20 for my team. I sell it at cost for you guys, but you can get it for free if you are going to place a 100 PV order. And I always say there's no pressure, but I know a lot of times people have other things on their wish list they want to get right away. And then they get that book for free. And to me, that's like the gift to them that keeps on giving because they're going to feel more, so empowered having that book and knowing how to use it. So that's one promotion that we've always done consistently.
We've done some other ones.
You guys just experienced like the 2,000 enrollment giveaway.
That was more of a celebration. But
I mean,
it wasn't really an incentive.
We give new rank ups on our team, like our personal enrollments when they hit silver and above, we give them gifts to like celebrate them hitting that rank advancement.
I would say, so to broaden this a little bit, there are some people in doTERRA that incentivize a lot. We feel like the value of the oils by themselves and the natural products is so good that there's not a lot extra we need to do to convince someone to get them. If we can find out what a person wants and can confidently provide them a solution to their problem, like that is huge value. Especially when you talk about like oils that are maybe 30, 40, 50 cents an application or a dose.
So that being said, that like for the most part is true for us. But there have been times when, yes, Emily, it is against company policy to post them online, to post incentives. But if you're talking one-on-one with people, you can do with whatever you want. But we've just found like if you're giving away, say, an Essential Life book for a family essentials enrollment, that's like you're losing money on enrolling them. And if they don't start on LRP, then you're kind of like up a creek. Mm-hmm. So that kind of stuff we don't do. But there have been times in my business where I did do that when I was trying to hit like silver and gold and hitting gold consistently. I was doing a lot of like enrollment incentives just because we were like pushing so hard to hit that rank every month. So I'm not saying this is a hard and fast rule.
And we did Diamond Club, which is like, incentives. It's incentives that are subsidized by doTERRA and your sponsors.
And there are like really great, like just like little gifts. Like I normally give somebody like a little gift if they enroll at a class, because I would rather have them enroll at the class so I don't have to follow up with them a ton. Yeah. So I'll say like, I have this great little A to Z guide that you can have if you enroll today, or I have this essential, like the Living magazine, or this Wild Orange from the Class in a Box kit. Those are just like little things that I can give them that will like get them excited to do it on the spot and not drag it out. What exactly happens during a membership overview, and why are they very important for my business? So at every membership overview, I always, number one, go through the questions they have in their mind. Number two, talk about their health goals. Number three, show them how to use the LDC Facebook page and resources to get their answers in the future. And then number four, I go through like the back office and I literally like pull it up and show them how I log in, and I show them the difference between the standard order and the LRP order. And so what I found is that if you don't set up the membership overview right away when they're enrolling, like, I mean, literally, like you're at the class, Rachel's on, we just did this last week. We're teaching a class, this girl enrolled and she was going to walk out the door, and Rachel did what I did for a long time. She was like, we'll text and we'll line up a time to set up your lifestyle membership overview, whatever we called it. And I was like, actually, I have my calendar right here. How about we just like set it up right now? And we scheduled it, and she left and she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, guys. You're so awesome. And you could just tell that us like taking that action of scheduling it right away in that moment for her was like, dang, I have no buyer's remorse. These girls are legit. They're going to support me. I'm going to know how to use this stuff. But for some reason, if you don't schedule it right away and you text people later, their lives are crazy. And suddenly it's like you're pulling teeth to get them to come and learn how to use the oils they already bought. I don't know why it's like that. This is my experience, but it is really important to set it up right away. And membership overviews, in my experience, are like the lifeblood of your business. Your business long-term will be built on the LRPs of your customers. And if you just teach them one and done at a class how to use oils, they're just not going to set up LRP, and they're probably going to use their oils here and there. And it's just not going to be the same benefit to your business. So
just like a little bit of mindset around membership overviews and business overviews. Like it's our job. We have to think of it in terms of like, why did we choose this business? And why did doTERRA choose this business model as opposed to selling their oils on the shelf at Whole Foods or the Co-op or wherever? And it's because we, as wellness advocates, are advocates for our customers. Like, we are the ones that can help connect them to the resources that they need and that they want. And part of the way we do that is we offer them all of their options: the membership overview, the LRP program, and the business opportunity, because like we don't know who's going to say, yeah, that's exactly what I've been looking for. Where have you been all my life? And we don't do it like in a pressure filled way. We're just like, you have a membership, these are the options, and we will tell them which ones we think would work best for them.
I literally say like, them. This is why 70% of the people on my team order through LRP, because of all these perks that I just told you about. And suddenly like, oh yeah, like I'm not telling them they have to, I'm just saying like 70% of the people on my team do it that way. So there's like strategy behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question is, do I keep going deep with my one leg, or do I go a little bit wider? So this is like a team structure question. And apparently this person has one leg, presumably with other people on that leg.
Go ahead.
I would say it depends on how much volume is on that one leg. And if you have another person that would mark off the boxes for you of being a frontline builder, which maybe you can talk about what those boxes are in a second. But remember when we were talking about elite and premier. So when you're elite, which is 3,000 OV, and anywhere lower than that, it doesn't matter where your volume is. So it can be all on that one leg. But to get to premier, then you need two legs that are at least executive. So that's when it starts to matter where your volume is placed. And you want those two people to be at least sharing and ordering regularly. That's the biggest thing, is you want them to be committed to 100 PV LRP so that they can be your qualifier, and so that they earn all of the commission that they are eligible for.
So one quick interjection is like, obviously every builder on our team, we tell you like the best way to build is to identify two builders that want to do this with you. That's how you grow to premier. So that's what you want to do with that one leg. You want to do the same thing. You want to teach them like, I want to help you get two people that are doing the business with you so you can get to premier. So that's what I would say is like, I mean, yeah, it's great to build deeper, but honestly, we don't usually place lower than our fourth level on our team. For the most part, we're wanting to create duplication that fills up those other levels. If that doesn't make sense, it's okay. But basically, like at the beginning, you want to help activate your builder to get their builders, and then you can start placing under their builders. So like depth is great, but for the most part, it's more about like, how do you clearly have conversations with people to see if the business would be a good fit for them? And that happens usually by passionately educating people about how awesome the products are.
Yeah, so I think another way this question could be worded is, when do I start a second leg? And I would say, I think we both would say,
not until you find the right person.
When it's the right person, that's when you start a second leg. That's going to place 100 PV LRP every month. That's going to
basically committed plus capable people that are like in their life in general. You see that they're committed people, they work hard, and they're capable. They are capable of like leading other people. They're probably successful in something else that they're already doing. Like committed plus capable is what you want on your front line.
And if you only have one leg, and again, I don't know who this person is, but if you only have one leg and you have like 4 or 5 people on that leg, don't stress out about that. Mm-hmm. But if you have one leg and there's like 20 to 30 people on that one leg, then I think you might need to be more intentional and more straightforward with asking like,
people about the business.
You're probably not communicating about the business opportunity as much as you should, or to the right people, or in the right way.
Yeah.
We can talk more about that another time. Okay, this is another placements question. I want to learn strategy on how and where to place enrollments. I want to grow deep, but I don't know how to do that without the amount of builders that I have on my team.
So I feel like
with the amount of builders I have on my team
goes back to the same question, or what, like our answer from the last question. yes, you want to, or like she's saying she wants to grow, or she or he was saying, I want to grow deep, but I don't know how to do that with the amount of builders that I have. So like the question that I would have for this person is like, why do you think you don't have builders? And then kind of deconstruct backwards, not from a place that you're trying to beat yourself up, but like more just like, have I talked to people about the business? Do I think the business is awesome? Like, what do I need to learn to realize how awesome the business is? Like, the Leadership magazine is killer if your belief in the business isn't there yet. If you just read through that and hear the stories of people that are diamonds in doTERRA, diamonds and above, and what doTERRA as a business has done for them, like just live off of that, be inspired by them and the way those people are living their lives. It's like $3 or something like that on your back office to buy it. But like, then it's like then thinking about the question, okay, like how can I share the business in a way that feels right and authentic for me and who I am? And that's going to look different for every person. Like, so it's like, I can tell you all the ways that I do it, but I'll just tell you the simplest thing to do every single time you enroll someone is to ask them whether they want their account to be a wholesale account or a wellness advocate account. And that's the first point where you're going to like just get comfortable asking the question. So, yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's like just coming back to the options. You're giving the people that we're serving their options without assuming.
And if you absolutely are not finding the right person, then have a conversation with somebody that you trust and you love that is not your spouse, and ask them to be a ghost leg for you, which means like they have to be someone that kind of loves the oils, but they're for sure never going to build the business, and they have to be okay with that. And then they can be a ghost leg for you. If you have more questions on that, you guys can reach out. But yeah. And then this is the last question.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not. What, we have more, but what distinguishes doTERRA from Young Living? Should I even try to convert someone?
So my biggest, if you're at convention or you've watched the live stream, you're probably pretty convinced that doTERRA is better. Because number one, doTERRA is the only company that is doing co-impact sourcing and impacting families around the globe. So research co-impact sourcing on the Source2U website, watch a few of those videos. You'll be in tears and you'll be like, whoa, doTERRA is different. Number two, doTERRA is the only company that does third-party testing over 11 different tests or something like that. They're doing tons of third-party tests. Young Living does not do that. So there's nothing holding Young Living in 100% accountability that there's no adulteration or things happening to their oils before they are selling them. So
doTERRA is also the only essential oil company that publishes the results of the third-party testing company on the website. The
Source2U website. Yeah. So then with converting someone, I'm not sure about Young Living, Emily, if all their testing is done in-house. But anyways, so when I meet somebody that's Young Living, I'm like, oh, great, you should come to my classes. Like, because my experience with almost all Young Living people is they don't have classes where they can go to learn. So I invite them to my classes. And then as soon as possible, I try to sample them with doTERRA. And so that was what happened recently. I gave a physician assistant who already had Young Living oils, doTERRA oils, and she had an experience about how, like literally saw her son, who was having a wheezing attack, calm down in 30 minutes and go back to bed, which that had never happened with Young Living oils for her before.
Gretchen brings up a good point. So we don't publicly or even privately, for the most part, bash Young Living. We hear lots of stories of Young Living people bashing doTERRA, and we've even had people tell us directly before they knew who we were why doTERRA is a horrible company, and then we tell them what we do. Yes, we choose to communicate why we chose doTERRA, because we really did. Kristen, when we decided that we wanted to start using essential oils, she did a lot of research on the different companies, and we chose doTERRA. for a lot of the reasons that she just mentioned. And we don't even mention Young Living. If people bring it up to us, we will answer their questions objectively. And honestly, people that, like, we are not, to answer this person's question, should I even try to convert someone? Invite them to your class. They can enroll. They can have an account with both. I think that once people experience doTERRA's consistent quality, which I think is a big distinguisher between the two companies, the consistency, and with only with the consistency can you consistently produce the result you're looking for. Anyway, just let me finish a second. And what I heard somebody say once is like so good. When somebody was like, "Oh, I use Young Living," they will say, "If you like Young Living, you'll love doTERRA." And that just is like a mind shifter. Like, if you like Young Living, like, Young Living is good, but if you like Young Living, you'll love this. It's like, if you like the county fair, you'll love Six Flags, that kind of thing.
So, like, with that in mind, the other thing that I was just going to say was that our little son just woke up. Anyways, just honestly, like, I've started to view Young Living like every other company. And so if somebody's using Now oils, I'm teaching them the value why doTERRA is the best and they should be using the best quality oils. So that's what I would encourage you to do as well. The only thing that makes Young Living bad is the fact that Young Living at their classes, a lot of times they're teaching that doTERRA stole all the blends from Young Living. So just that's like the main negative that I hear, Gretchen, and it's not true. Like, it's not true. It's been proved inaccurate through court. And so you can read the court article online. But anyways, this person also asked, what about how to answer folks who are concerned about overdosing / creating food sensitivities with a concentrated amount of a plant? I will use two things. Like, if we're talking about internal usage, the internal usage ebook from doTERRA is really awesome. It's a great resource. And then the second thing is that there is also a doTERRA recommended amounts chart that you can send to them as well. And then the last question on this page is, how do I motivate my builders? Do you want to answer that?
Oh boy. That's a loaded question because it could mean different things, but a couple of thoughts. How do I motivate my builders? I think we always want to come back, whether it's a product or the business, we want to come back to what people want and why they started, whether it's why they got their membership for the products and for LRP and membership overviews, or if it's somebody that has said, I want to do the business with you. And so say they said that, but then they're not doing the things that are involved in actively building a doTERRA business. It's just having a conversation with them and asking, like, hey, last time we talked, this is what you told me. This was your goal. These were the things that we talked about. And just have a clarifying conversation. Has something changed, or is this has something changed, or is this still your goal? And if it's still your goal, let's figure out the action steps to move forward and get back on track. Because I think a lot of times that's just what people are looking for, is clarity and focus and a way to move forward with their leader, their enroller.
And then the second piece is always like looking back at yourself and being like, what am I doing right now? And what am I modeling for them? Because it's always going to start with you modeling it first and doing it yourself. Like, when you achieve new goals with the right people, like, you are just going to have a certain percentage of people that suddenly will be like, oh, well, she did it. Like, maybe I really can do it. And they come back to it. So just remembering that, like, just because you don't have builders that are actively doing things doesn't mean that you can't. Like, there are lots of people that have built themselves to silver. I also have met
It's
a
not
lady
ideal.
that built herself to diamond. It's not ideal. And in my opinion, then it's like, what are you doing that's
No
not
way to live.
duplicatable? And like, why aren't you having crucial conversations with people? Like, you have to have crucial conversations with people. And yes, accountability is helpful, but you just have to remember to like, you do it first. And then you say like, I'm not asking you this for me. It's just, I know you said that this was your goal and I want to help you achieve that through doTERRA. And I want to work together with you. And so you ask them then. So then the couple questions that were asked live, Gretchen asked, I have a mom's group that invited me to speak, but doesn't want it to be all about oils. Got an idea. Based on the time of year.
I think you could teach a class on how to be an awesome mom.
Yeah.
In general. I think you brought that.
I think it'd be really great to, like, there's so many ways you could take this, Gretchen, but one idea is you could talk about like how to support kids emotionally as they grow up, and like how to
getting toxins out of
the home, or talk about immune health. And then I think for you, like, just think through like, what are all the keys when we're talking immune health? What are all the things that I do to support my kids' immune health? And then you go through all of those. And there's still going to be a big chunk of your class that would be on immune health then, or immune health through essential oils. But obviously you're also going to talk about like cutting out sugar and teaching them to drink a lot of water and bone broth and chiropractic and all those things too. So, and then I would have a very clear opportunity where those moms can schedule times to meet up with you, or another class, maybe like a little make and take where they can make a free 5 ml roller bottle. And they can learn more specifically on your like whole kids and essential oils class. And then you have a sign up with their phone number for them to get the information texted to them so they can join that class. That's how I would do it. And then I would raffle off something at the moms group. Hopefully that helps. And then Terry asked, making lip balms with favorite oil. So I've never made a lip balm in my life. But there's lots of people that have. Yes, I buy doTERRAs and I love them. That doesn't mean you can't. I think if you just search doTERRA, on the LDC or potentially on the blog as well, doTERRA's blog, if you search doTERRA lip balm recipe, I'm sure there's probably one that pops up. So, yeah. Thanks for joining, everybody. This went longer than intended, but it's all good stuff. So, does anybody else have any questions that you wanted to ask before we jump off? All good to go?
Good to see you all.
Sweet. For the most part, people voted once per month, so that's probably what we're going to start doing with these. Thanks, guys.
Say hi to Elliot.
Oh, favorite placement resources. Kelly, I'll message you, but just for everybody, Teresa Harding, I went to a training of hers at doTERRA's convention, and she is having a free training online for 7 weeks. And
it starts on October 17th.
Yeah, it starts on October 17th. I typically don't recommend her training for brand new builders though, so I take it or leave it. I would recommend it usually for like elites to premiers.
You're on.
It's going to be like super advanced, and there's also a lot of time commitment. So if you're interested, you can reach out. But otherwise, do you have any other favorite ones?
I would just say the in the rank, the train by rank guides, they have the rank planners in there, and I think that's a really good place to start, just to help you see where are your strong legs and where is there a lot of activity and where are your weaker points. But yeah, I'm sure like some of the top leaders like Ange or Keely or Teresa Harding, all on YouTube, probably have YouTube videos too with placements trainings. We have one.
And we have one too. It's on our YouTube channel.
Placements 101.
Yeah, it's also in the Wellness Leaders group. Yeah, Placements 101 is what it's called. So thanks for joining, guys. Happy Monday.
Bye-bye.